All right, in today's lesson, we're going to learn how to graph functions. We're on page 354 in our books. I am not using the actual example from the book, but it's one just like it, okay? So in example 1, this should look a lot like your lesson from yesterday, right? Right? Should look like your lesson from yesterday, making a table, an input-output table. That's all we're doing here. Except now, we're adding one more step, okay? So it's going to be 4 columns. And this last step is going to be your ordered pair. Talked a little bit about that yesterday, your ordered pair. Okay? So we take the input, we plug it into the function. Remember, we talked about the function as being a machine. You take the input, plug it into the function, and whatever number you get out of it, that's your output, okay? So plug in -2 into the function, and what's going to be your output? 2. -2 plus 4 is 2. Y equals 0 plus 4. What's 0 plus 4?
4.
Y equals 2 plus 4. What's 2 plus 4? 6. So now I have an x value and I have a y value. That seems like enough to me to make an ordered pair. So my ordered pair would be -2, 2. Okay? What would my second ordered pair be? What would my second ordered pair be? Warsay?
0, 4.
Yes, 0, 4. What would my third ordered pair be? Kevin?
2 and 6.
2 and 6. Okay, so now I'm going to let y'all finish copying that down, but now we're going to take those ordered pairs and we're going to turn around and make and graph it. Okay, so I'll give y'all another minute to finish copying that down. All right, so now that we've come up with our ordered pairs, we're going to come over to our coordinate plane, okay, on our graph paper, and we are going to go ahead and number it, okay? We're going to go ahead and number it, including our dashes. So make sure that you skip that first block, okay? Make sure you skip the first block there. All right? All right, now that you've labeled, okay, now we're going to take our ordered pairs from the table, okay? So we got -2, 2, 0, 4, 2, 6, and now we're going to plot those points. -2, 2, 0, 4, and 2, 6. Plot those points on our graph and draw a line through each point, a straight line. And then the last thing we do is we label the function rule associated with the graph. And that is how you graph a function. All right, now in example 2, okay, we're given an input-output table, but are we given the function rule? Did they give us the function rule? No, they didn't. So we have to look at the relationship between the input-output. Sound familiar? Should sound like what we learned yesterday, right? Okay, so how would I get from my input to my output? What do I have to do to each one of those numbers to get to my output? What am I doing here? Think about it. What am I doing to get from input to output? And you need to be copying down this table. Okay? All right, Chris, what's the function rule?
Multiply 2.
Y equals 2x, right? You multiply x by 2 to get to y, right? So y equals 2x is our function rule. So our table's already done, our input and output. All right, so let me just erase this big circle around it. All right, so what's the ordered pair for x and y? On the first one, what's the ordered pair? 0, 0, right? What's the ordered pair for the second one? 1, 2. What about the third one? 2, 4. What about the next one? 3, 6, and then 4, 8. Okay? So you don't necessarily have to write down those ordered pairs because, you know, you can just assume since you have x and y that that's what it is. But we are now going to go over to a graph and we're going to graph it. Okay? So go ahead and draw the grid for another graph just like you just did for example 1. All right, so we have our ordered pairs. What was my first ordered pair? What was my first ordered pair? What was it? 0, 0. So I plot a point. What was my next ordered pair? 1, 2. What was my next one? 2, 4. What was my next one? Thank you, Tabitha. What was my next one? 4, 8. Okay? So all we're doing is just plotting those ordered pairs on the graph. Now what do I need to do? Draw a straight line with arrows on both ends. Am I done? What's the last thing I need to do? I need to write the function rule. What was the function rule that we figured out? Y equals 2x. And now we're done. We've graphed the function. Okay? So that's everything you need to know for this section. Before you start packing up, I want you to turn to page 356. And I'm going to include this part in the recording for your lesson. So when you're doing your homework, if you need help getting number 6 started, it'll be on the recording, okay? Number 6 on your homework. You're going to need two things, okay? Are you listening, Quentin? Are you listening? Okay. You will have to make an input-output table, okay? I need everybody looking on page 356 with me, okay? Otherwise, you're going to be totally lost on your homework tonight. So, you've got your input, you've got your function for number 6, and you have your output. Everybody see the function on number 6, y equals x? Yes. Okay? But does it tell you what your domain needs to be? Does it tell you what numbers need to go in your input? No. Does it? No, it doesn't, which means that you can choose whatever number you want. All right? Now, you can't choose all zeros. It has to be different numbers, but here's my suggestion, and you need to choose at least 3. My suggestion is to use -3, 0, and 3, okay, for all 3 of them. Just choose that domain for all 3 of them, and it'll be fine. Now, if you choose different numbers, just remember you need to choose at least one negative number for your domain, okay, at least one negative number. So now we've begun to set up our input-output table, so we plug in -3 for x. Well, that's easy. Y equals -3. Y equals 0. And y equals 3. Super easy. Okay, so now the output is going to be -3, 0, and 3. What's our first ordered pair? -3, -3. What's our second ordered pair? 0, 0. What's our third ordered pair? 3, 3. Okay, now I take these ordered pairs and I go graph them. Okay, so on your homework, when we check on Monday, number 6, 7, 8, there's only 3 of them. They will be 20 points apiece. It will be 10 points. Listen, it will be 10 points for the table, 10 points for the graph. 10 points for the table and 10 points for the graph. So make sure for each one of them, that's why I only gave you 3 problems, okay? You're welcome. I could have given you 9 of them, okay? All right, so make sure that you have the table and the graph right next to it, all right? And that'll be your homework, okay? And that's it for 7.8. That's it for Chapter 7. That's the last section.